Okay, so last week I showed you how I built my desk in my office. And so this week I'm going to show you kind of all the other things that I did inside there. So that's gonna be the lights, the sound foam stuff. I built a kind of a cool zigzaggy shelf in one of the corners. And then I added just a bunch of kind of fun things that I've always wanted to just hang up in my office. So yeah, I'm gonna show you how I did all those. There's also been a lot of concern about the fact that I have it raised up off the ground. Like, what if I fall? What if I, slip and get hurt? Don't worry. I'm a stuntman. That's my job. Like, that's outside of YouTube. That's my real job. I do stunts for movies, TV, and I also do some stuff at theme parks. So don't worry about that. All right, let me show you the things I'm gonna do inside there. Once a stuntman, always a stuntman. See, no need to worry. My buddies were getting rid of a fall pad, so I have it here now, and I'm getting some good use out of it. It takes a little bit of wrestling to move it around, but it's better than hitting the ground. Also, don't try this at home. Alright, where was I? Oh yeah, the office. The first thing I did after building it was install lights. These are simple LED lights that I can link up to more lights with a special cord. I made some modifications by wiring up a Romex cable to lead to a switch next to the door. I placed the switch at a height that I can reach from the ground below. There's no option to conceal the wire, but to keep it in place, I'm putting it in this cord cover track. I continue the track down from the switch to bring the cable below the level of the desk. I have a long extension cord running from the power strip along the wall under the desk into the track to the switch. From the switch, it runs through more track to the ceiling and over to the first light. When this much was wired up, I turned it on to make sure it works. This may not be the most conventional choices of wiring this up, but it'll hold up great. I did everything right. It should work. Hey, that's pretty good. I like that light. All right. Okay, got a light there. Let's put a light over there. I was mostly concerned that it wouldn't be bright enough. I was impressed with one, so instead of having 3 lights, I just placed a second one opposite the first. I added one more stretch of track between these two, just to make it look clean. And there it is. Office lights, check. Alright, time for some sound dampening. These blank walls don't work well for sound recording purposes. I got a bunch of these acoustic foam panels to put up. There isn't really an obvious way to install them, so I figured out my own method that hasn't had any issues. I attached command strips to the foam with hot glue. The foam to command strip is the connection most likely to fail, though not with the hot glue. For squares that go on the wall, I just put 2 in the top 2 corners. For those that go on the ceiling, I put a strip on all 4 corners. I'm glad I chose 2 colors. It just looks a lot better. It also looks better to alternate the directions of the squares, so all the blue are horizontal and all the black are vertical. The panels go from desk level upwards and across the entire ceiling. I even put some on the back of the door for better sound recordings when the door is closed. Now, with all 3 walls and the ceiling covered, there's no echo in my recording studio. Just to the right of the desk, I put a clipboard so I can make quick notes while I'm working. You never know when you need to write something down, so this is handy. I mentioned in the last video that I upgraded the monitor for the second computer. This has the ability to rotate 90 degrees. I said it like that because it works better for me that way. It doesn't feel too crammed. I picked up a real microphone to replace the old method of recording voiceovers. I used to just use the Voice Memos app on my phone. I mean, it worked alright, but the quality has definitely improved. The new monitor sits way too high, so I rearranged a few things. Eventually, I'll build my own storage method to replace that plastic container bin. The last wall on the inside to work on is the most intricate. The back wall opposite my desk. That's where all the fun personal things will go. I've been storing a bunch of this stuff in a box for quite a while, so let's lay it all out and make some things to put up. From my time working at Disneyland, I've gotten this license plate cover that I never used. I also have a small collection of pins. I don't collect them, but I have been given all these pins over the years. Most of them have a common theme. Take a guess as to why. I'm making this license plate into a small corkboard for all the pins. I cut a piece of 1/2-inch plywood for the backing, then cut and glued a piece of cork to the front. I put a picture hanger on the back in the center. This won't be very heavy, so just one will be good. I pre-drilled 2 tiny holes for short nails to hold the license plate. It's not really going anywhere, so that'll be plenty. I added all the pins. I spread them out evenly, and I guess there's room for more in the future. A couple of them aren't pins, and so I added small nails so they could hang. And now this is ready to go up on the wall. Like I said before, I've done some theme park work. Most of the time I was doing a show and didn't wear a name tag, though I still had them. Most of them are the safety pin kind, so I'm gonna make another small corkboard for all these. The main difference between the last one and this one is I made it 3 layers of cork instead of 1. That way the name tags can stab all the way in without looking wonky. I let the glue dry overnight with some weight on it. Just to clean up the look a bit, I decided to paint the sides. I put tape on the front to keep it clean, and then took it outside to spray. This gray color will just make the wood and cork blend together. This thing isn't heavy, so it got one hanger just like the other one. I used hot glue where necessary, and stabbed the safety pin name tags into the cork. It took a little bit of finagling to get them to sit at the right angle. And there you go, a bunch of the places I've worked, including my 5-year Disney pin. A long while ago, I made this string art Peter Pan hat. It's held up really well. All this needs is some hangers on the back. I put 2 in this one. I'm a big fan of The West Wing, as well as the West Wing Weekly podcast. I quote the show all the time, so here's a poster relating to all that. I was thinking about putting it on the inside, but it fits well on the outside. Now I have to make something for the physical things. A couple of shelves would be okay, but I can do better than that. I've seen some modern looking optical illusion-like shelves that kind of zigzag up the corner. I think they're kind of cool looking, so I'm going to build one of those. I cut out 11 squares of plywood, all with the exact same dimension. I used a stop block on my miter saw to make sure of that. I cleaned up the edges with some sandpaper. Then I started assembling. Now, it turned out fine in the end, but the way I assembled this was not the best way. I didn't figure this out until after, but the right way to do it is to first make a bunch of L's. Then you take the L's and start attaching them one by one, like stacking the L's. That way, the nail gun will always be used from an open space, not like here where I couldn't use it some of the time. I mean, the nails really just hold it in place while the glue dries. Like I said, it worked out fine, but if you're gonna make one, do it better than me. When it's all put together, it looks like this. Funky, but cool looking. I was trying to decide what to paint it, going back and forth between a few options. I was sharing the building process on Instagram, and someone suggested doing a 2-color scheme, where the majority is one color and the edges are blue. I thought that was a great idea, so that's what I did. I sprayed it with a few coats of black. I didn't worry about painting the backside faces because they'll be hidden against the wall. Now, painting blue on a black surface would not show up super well, so I first painted the edges white. When that dried, I then added the blue. I was super surprised with how well this turned out. It looks really clean, and modern too. And now this is ready to go up on the wall. Alright, I have a bunch of things ready for the wall, so let's hang some stuff up. First thing is to add a door bumper so the knob doesn't dent the wall. The shelf will obviously go in the corner, so the rest of the things just had to stay clear of that. Because of all the hangers, these things went up super easily. There's still plenty of real estate on the wall for more things in the future. I guess it's a good thing that I chose to paint the shelf mostly black, because then I don't have to hide the screws. They blend right into the paint. Then I added some stuff to the shelves. A prop mug from Beauty and the Beast on Broadway, some souvenir lights from when the electrical parade closed years ago, some field dirt from Fenway Park in Boston, as well as a Major League ball, and a little award thing from Disney. I didn't use all the shelves, so it's not at full capacity yet. This wall is looking pretty cool already. I have been collecting a bunch of stickers from various places. I contemplated for a while as to where in the workshop I should put them. I'll definitely be collecting more in the future, so it needs to be somewhere with plenty of room. What better place than my workshop office door? I have a lot of plans for the future, now that my workshop is nearly completely set up. There are some unique projects in the works that I think you'd be pretty stoked about. I mean, I sure am. If you want to support me as I tackle some of these things in the future, I just started a Patreon site and the link is in the description. Now, if you do support me on Patreon, there'll be a bunch of exclusive content just for you. If you're here just to see my puppies causing mischief as I work, there'll be a lot more of that on Patreon. Plus, I'll do some behind the scenes stuff like how I put together the mini stunt for this video. You may also play a part in influencing what I build, so it'll be a lot of fun. Thank you in advance because it'll mean so much to me. All right, I'm gonna get back to building, so enjoy some puppy spam and I'll see you next week. Okay, that's it for now. See ya. Excuse me. Do you want to get painted? No? Okay, go. Go away. Really? You go away. Go away. Go away. Weirdos. Is that you, are you a weirdo? Huh? Hang on. Here. Here. Ah, shoot. I hit the door. I could go.
Ready?